Greetings, friend. It's Colrain or Colrain Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them. And what I am creating for you today, this is the third part in a 4-part series on the trauma responses and how we can rebalance these responses within ourselves. So this is going to be a guided session where you can either just sit back and open yourself up to receiving, or you can participate by doing some self-Reiki, by intuitively placing your hands in different places, wherever you feel you need this healing, or you're being guided to direct it. Reiki and energy healing arts are intuitive, intelligent energy. And so all you have to do really is to open yourself to receive and allow this energy to be, go where it needs to go. But I'm going to try and guide in some ways, just to help with our focus for this session. So today we're focusing on the freeze response. And the freeze response is a common reaction to traumatic events where we lock up. And we, this can be symbolic or metaphorical, where we, want to stay inside, we don't want to take risks, we want things to stay predictable and stay comfortable and safe. And sometimes this can be to the detriment of our growth and our participation in life. And other times, this response can be not so metaphorical, where we literally feel our body stop being able to move. And, we want to prevent something from happening, or we want to say something in response to something that someone's telling us or trying to do to us or for us that we don't want. And we just can't find the ability. And there's no shame in this, of course. I've been there. I've had many experiences where I've, involuntarily had to freeze up. But I just want to support you in that, in balancing, because sometimes the freeze response can be good. It can prevent us from doing things that we would regret later. But also, the freeze response can prevent us from taking necessary action to protect ourselves. Okay, so I also want to mention, as I'm lighting up this dragon's blood incense, I'm going to use this to start to open up the auric field and to bring in not only a protective and grounding energy, as I did in the previous 2 videos, but I also want to, specifically for the freeze response, help you to de-thaw your energy and to allow for you to gain more sovereignty over your energy, the ability to respond when you feel safe, respond in ways that are compassionate for yourself and for others, and in ways that bring through your wisdom and your healing and the greater connection and unity of us as human beings, and not just as humans, but the unity of us with our earth, because sometimes we get these trauma responses from the ways that we're interacting in other relationships within the earth plane. So, but I do want to give a disclaimer as I say this, that this is I didn't mention this in the other 2, and I wish I had, but this is part of a decolonizing series in my intention. Because the more that I learn about colonization and colonial, imperial trauma, the more that I find that these tactics rely on us to be, as colonized peoples, to be in this state of conflict with each other, but also conflict with ourselves. And so there's trauma responses that are created from within and that we're receiving from outside. And as this happens, we are separated and disconnected from these stories and these wisdoms that are encoded within our ancestry, within our cultures, within our beliefs and our practices. And we end up participating in the colonizing of others when we've been fully indoctrinated into these systems. And so it's important not to, just regress and go purely back, because those things don't exist anymore, unfortunately. But it's really, well, I won't say don't completely. They don't exist in the pure form that they did once. But it is important for us to be able to reintegrate the wisdom that still does exist, and also to bring ourselves into a state of acknowledgement of where we want to be creating and reconnecting and rewilding and regaining that sovereignty, so that we can create communities and cultures that are outside of these spiritually traumatizing experiences and ways of being and relating. So bringing this dragon's blood incense through, I'm just intending to clear any influences that are attached to the aura, drawing those out. And also to align the chakras. The chakras are also known as wheels, so they spin, they move, and they create energy. And when we freeze, our energy stops moving. And I just want to reawaken any of the chakras. And if you're following along as a self-healing practice, I just want you to move your hands to any place in the body along the central column that you're feeling needs support or movement. And if you're feeling like you need to, tap or massage, please feel free to do that as well. I'm just using some Reiki symbols to reawaken the energy gently and with respect for your free will and what you can handle. Calling in your guides of support, of wisdom, of compassion. To help assist in this energy healing. Now, I have a little story along with this. With the other groups, I was pulling cards at the beginning, but I feel like I need to wait to do that for your group, because I feel like I need to awaken your energy first. This is chert. I'm feeling like I just need to pause with your group, whoever's in this group. This chert comes from a story called And the Stones Cry Out. And it's interesting that this is kind of a religious story. It's blending Buddhism and Christianity. And these are two religions. I think all world religions have contributed to some level of collective trauma, just through the ways that people have misused religion for spiritual negligence, is what the guides want me to say, and spiritual control. But in this story, there's this man named Manasseh, and he is experiencing extreme PTSD following being drafted into World War II. Talk about collective trauma. But in the story, he uses geology. So I'm just going to be bringing this through as I'm telling you this. To somewhat escape. So he's kind of having that flight response, as the last video focused on. But he also freezes a lot, and he gets stuck in the past, unable to move, and he's like time traveling kind of back and forth between these traumatic experiences and his present moment. So he uses the green chert in the story to get himself centered and into his own mind as an observer, rather than as a traumatized version of himself. So I'm just bringing this into the root, slowly grounding and connecting you into your earth star, so that you can know, you can feel, and you can be rooted and connected in with your earth experience, with what you signed up to experience on a soul level, and also what you've just happened to experience through your life, so that you can not avoid what you've been feeling or facing. Sorry, my legs starting to hurt. But you can embrace it. And I just want to use this to also cleanse out and gently just draw anything out of the third eye and the crown space. It's kind of frozen or stuck or stagnant. And I just saw 1111. So your guides are definitely have their hands all over your life right now if you're watching this. This session feels really emotional to me, and I think it's because when you're in the freeze response, you're still feeling the emotions usually, but there's just an inability to respond or act. And so I just want to open up the crown so that these divinely inspired responses can be brought through, so that you can feel spiritually guided, spiritually loved, and that you can also connect to that source of connection and love and unity that exists within the universe. I'm going to tap this around you. This is an extremely grounding piece. I can't tell if this is agate or a type of chalcedony. If you have a guess, maybe let me know in the comments. If you're participating in the self Reiki, I want you to bring your hands and just grip your waist and just feel what it feels like to be channeling in loving energy to the lower half of your body. I'm just using the air to blow out any debris and any energy that needs to be removed from down in the lower part of the body. Reactivating the solar plexus. And I'm feeling drawn. Before I do, I'm gonna draw in some Reiki symbols, and the wind's kind of coming through too. Working in the heart space and the throat, connecting these two so that at the very least you can use your voice, you can use the power of communication to begin to ask for help if you need help getting out of this stagnation, so that new beautiful affirmations can come through and you can speak power into your life, strength. Okay, let's get you a message. So to help us deal with this freeze response spirit, what message can be brought through? That's interesting. And then just being drawn up to look at a butterfly, a swallow's tail above my head. So maybe butterfly is really important for you. You got this beautiful card, commitment. I see 1444. So more 444 energy for you. Commitment. The Rumi quote says, "The awakened heart is like a lantern. Keep it sheltered from the turbulence of the winds of desire." Wow, and that butterfly is coming right down next to me. So, okay. The awakened heart is like a lantern. Keep it sheltered from the turbulence of the winds of desire. Interesting. The fear that your desire won't manifest may cause you to try to bend life to your will. It is an unnecessary battle and one that will not serve your soul. Instead, just show up. Be present. Life is not working at cross purposes with you. Far from it. Life is a creative co-conspirator with your heart. So yes, horrible things happen and people have certain desires manifest that are dysfunctional and unhealthy for maybe others around them, not for the greatest good. And sometimes we even bring those things about. But that doesn't mean that it isn't a part of life and that we need to shut down or pretend it isn't there. And I feel like commitment, that word, is showing that there's a commitment to being able to, I want to say deal with, but be present with something that's happened in order to make sense of it, in order to find the medicine within it, in order to find the medicine within ourselves, even if we can't find something in the situation or in the people that we've been involved with. It's also showing me the guidance that's here is saying that that first sentence, the fear that your desire won't manifest may cause you to try to bend life to your will. So sometimes this freeze response they're revealing is a reaction to feeling out of control or having too much of an attachment to control. And so when we don't feel like we can gain control, there's like a, let's stagnate. Like I can't make anything happen. So there's a surrender that needs to happen to the divine. And that's where that protection is going to come in. I'm going to get a final message for you, my beautiful lovelies who've been here. And if you're wanting to continue to participate in Reiki, I'm just feeling like there's an aura cleanse that needs to happen. And here's your card from the wild unknown, and I love that this energy is coming out. The Ace of Wands is signifying that this energy session is going to help to reawaken your passion and your insight into life. Whatever has been put on hold for you, if this is a long-term freeze, or whatever you froze from within a certain moment, whether it was brief or extended, there's going to be a new awakening within this area where you're going to find some clarity, you're going to find some movement, and it's going to feel like you have a new inspiration to go forward in life and to chase after what you're committed to, right? So I'm just going to do a really quick sweep through the aura, just empowering you, channeling in beautiful, loving energy, an energy of being able to know your truth, to not doubt your insight. I'm going to use the shell as well to just comb through and smooth your aura, helping you to be able to use time to your advantage. If you need to slow down, that's okay, as long as you're not stopping. No one's put any pressure on you. And if you have frozen in the past and there's some part of your spirit or your soul that's locked there, I would recommend going and finding my soul retrieval video if you're resonating with that. I made that a couple years ago, so you might have to scroll back a little far, but just integrating this energy of soul retrieval through your aura. I'm just going to place my hands on you, bring through an energy of love, healing, gratitude, and groundedness. I want to thank you so very much for joining me, my friend. Thank you for doing this work. Take deep breaths and spend some time just connecting with your inner self, even for 5 minutes today if you feel like this session brought some stuff up. And even if you didn't, just take that time to be still and to practice pausing but not detaching, right? So if you're interested in any of my services or seeing my policies and ethics or anything like that, that will be in the description below. Otherwise, I hope you have a beautiful day, my friend.